Riot just dropped the absolute nuke on WildRift's matchmaking. Everything we thought to believe to be true actually turns out to be factually correct and backed up by a developer who has recently posted about this on Twitter. So all of you who'd had enough, who just want to know what the heck is going on in WildRift, don't worry, I'll break it down for you today, and let's start with what he said on Twitter, and after every segment, I'll do a little breakdown and we'll talk about this. Let's go. Papa Smoothie says on Twitter, with the most recent ranked season coming to a close, I wanted to address one of the hot topics around matchmaking, specifically about artificially depressing your KDA. In case none of you know or knew about this, there was a big debate going on because of all the inting Scions, inting Trindamirs, inting Tristanas on side lane that got very high win rates with very low stats, and they just ran down side lane. Many people believe that they just get into different matches where they get better teammates and the enemy had, well, weaker players, and then they just got to win for free because the enemy lacked the skills to do anything about their split push. Now we move over to like a little bit of a prelude to this. He says again, first and foremost, I want to make clear that encouraging players to try and win is a fundamental goal of ours, and all of our supporting systems should encourage you to win. However, we are seeing edge cases where players attempt to game the system and find more favorable matches by manipulating the KDA. There are two edge cases that we have seen manifest. So already here you can read there's apparently a system in place that takes your KDA into account and puts you into easier or harder matches, at least so far with the information we have. Now about these two edge cases. Further, he says, players who trade their lives to accrue advantages in other areas of the game such as tower damage or pressure in other lanes, looking at you Mr. Scion, and players who actively try to ruin their KDA in a winning situation so they would get a more favorable match in subsequent games. So with this, they made very clear that they are aware of what is going on, what people are trying to do, and how they are gaming the system. So now let's move over to the juicy part. We don't want to dictate how you try to win, as we believe it's healthy to have a variety of paths to victory. But we want to step in to help address ranked system manipulation. The WildRift MMR system uses an updated algorithm that incorporates a multitude of game behaviors, such as winning-losing, KDA, lane assignments, teamfight participation, damage taken percentage, healing percentage, and many others. Our goal is to reward all the positive in-game behaviors, and KDA is only one of these factors. This paragraph alone tells you the entire story. Your stats influence your matchmaking. From this point onwards, you know that if you perform better, you will most likely get harder matches, and if you perform worse, you will get easier matches. However, you'll play in the same elo. So effectively, as I said in a different video, people are playing the game on different difficulties. So you could be in Challenger, I could be in Challenger, and Timothy D. Turner might also be in Challenger. But Timothy D. Turner is playing on easy mode, you're playing on medium mode, and I, for example, playing on hard mode. All of us are getting same LP, +1, -1, but our games look completely different. So who's getting rewarded and who's getting punished? To make this part even more controversial, let's look at what they are saying they're about to do. I quote, an adjustment we are rolling out with the next patch will look into increase the weight of winning or losing the game relative to the other factors. Now, your game's outcome will be a more significant determinant for future matchmaking accuracy. At the end of the day, consistently supporting your team toward victory is the best way to climb, and trying to artificially depress your KDA will be detrimental. With this, they are literally pleading guilty for all the accusations that all the content creators have brought forth. Matchmaking is skewed, matchmaking is literally rigged, and you get punished for playing well and you get rewarded for playing bad. As a little piece of proof, I want to show you the absolute GOAT of the European server, the current rank 1 holder, Mert the Trindamir main. Take a good look at his stats. And for your information, he stopped playing solo queue after the matchmaking changes and is now playing 5 queue. He played 5Q before to find games as he hit Grandmaster, but Riot also implemented another change that's even funnier. Instead of 7 games per week that are outside of your elo range in 5Q, you can do 14. So he's now able to abuse lower MMR people to get easier games to then just climb. And you saw absolutely correctly, he is the first challenger on the entire server. What's your opinion on this? Let me know in the comments below because I'm more than curious what you believe is correct here, if he's just so good at playing a quote-unquote strategy that is so strong that it's similar to the Baus FFS on PC, or if the people who just said, yeah, he's playing like the Baus are just absolutely bullshitting. I have a very clear opinion, I will not voice it here because I want to read your voices in the comments below. Now let's get back to the tweet. He says, there are more improvements we are looking into to improve your overall rank journey. We plan on being more timely in our response to your feedback and updates around matchmaking in the future. Lastly, I want to thank the players who are thoughtfully voicing their opinions and beliefs back to us. This is tremendously important for us to evaluate our performance, and the ball is in our court now to repay you with tangible changes that improve your day-to-day experience. First, I want to say thank you for actually tackling this, because to be honest, they could have just did some stealth changes under the radar of everyone, not addressed this at all, and just kept their silence. But on the other hand, did they really have a choice? Most of the creators in the WildRift sphere talked about this. They made videos on top of videos, opinions, Reddit was exploding, people were discontent. Was there realistically any way to not make this statement? So how genuine was this statement after all? It could be a PR gag, it could be genuine, it could be many things. But regardless of what it is in reality, we need to be very careful and truthful about this statement. Matchmaking is not saved. Period. It is literally not saved. They only changed the weighting of a stat in their algorithm, making it harder, allegedly, or at least apparently, for the inting players to climb. What didn't change is the fact that you still get punished for your performance, for performing well, and other people who are not performing well get rewarded. Specifically tackling this part, there was another Twitter user called Keys making a comment on this thread as well. Your game's outcome will be a more significant determinant for future matchmaking accuracy. So are good players still expected to 1v9 every game to win then? Do bad players still have it much easier or have an easier ride? Papa Smoothie responded to this. Punishing players for winning is a nuanced topic. On one hand, as you gain MMR and progress up the rank, you will naturally meet players of a higher caliber, leading to a fairer fight. What we needed to solve this time around was having you feel bad performing well in a specific game, and that led to a different result compared to someone who won but didn't perform as well. There could be other cases that cause the feeling of being punished for winning, and we need to evaluate each of them for their underlying reasons. He used a lot of words here, but in reality it doesn't really say that much. It's very vague at best. With all that said, what's left and what do we have to deal with now? To summarize this point again, simply change the weighting of one stat inside the algorithm. So there is not really much change. It's still the same as before, just edge cases are getting a little bit different type of a treatment. Good players still get actively punished by matchmaking, bad players still get rewarded. However, there's no cutoff for bad players, apparently. However, it's not only bad things, right? Still, something was addressed, and there's another thing we need to talk about. Another user commented, "Thanks for that, David. I hope that in 2024 we can see more of you and the team on Twitter too. Please think about an honor system, we really need this. Ranked actually is so frustrating." I absolutely agree with this. There's no punishment for griefing, inting, and unless you literally run down mid lane on cooldown, you do not get banned or punished at all. For example, when Royal played his inting Scion on the Chinese server, he was literally banned within a day. And on this server, you can do whatever you want unless you run down mid lane on cooldown. It's literally impossible to get banned unless you're hacking, win trading, or run down mid lane. Maybe there's one more thing which you can tell me about in the comments below because I can't think of anything else. But yeah, it's a really big problem. People just grieve, people get really fed up and just run it down, and nothing can happen to them unless they're really stupid. So luckily, Papa Smoothie is responding. Player behavior systems are on our list to address. It will take some time for us to get it right because it's such a hot topic since it's not just about maximizing a punishment for delinquents or giving extrinsic rewards. Couple this with different regional preferences, you have the makings of one of the hardest systems to design in any game. I do agree with you that there's more to be done in this area, and I hope we can find something that moves the needle. For this, I want to look at another streamer, Leroy. He talked about differences on the European or global client and the Chinese client. There's an entire thread which I'll attach below. You can take a look at it and just be like, what the hell? Why is their client so broken? And why do we have this pile of, well, I will not say it, but, well, you know what I mean. Anyway, let's take a look. Chinese server versus global servers. No idea why the Chinese server isn't replicated for the global servers, with better reporting system, fully functional with soft bans from ranked up to 24 hours for inting, chat voice restriction, in-game social credit score tracker, and all of the different things. It even has in-game guides, collaborations with celebrities. I know it's very difficult because of the marketing difference in the West and budget issues, but that doesn't really matter here. It's not the point. It's about the client in general, the functionality, all what it has. Esports tab, which would probably have helped, well, Western esports a lot more, because most of the people playing WildRift didn't even know there was esports. And in case you didn't notice, in the recent Academy thing, there was one slide that was bugged out where you couldn't do anything. This was the slide about voice chat, where on the Chinese server, you can send voice messages to your teammates to talk about what is happening, what you want to do, whereas here, you can't do anything. So yeah, what do you guys think about this entire debate? Are you hopeful with the matchmaking? Are you afraid that nothing has changed and we are just on major copium? And what is up with this client thing? Would you generally be interested in visiting a video or just watching a video where most of the differences are being showcased? Because I personally think that might be very interesting, and maybe we as a community or group, and maybe all content creators, could push for this too. So there's a little bit more pressure, because we simply do not understand why there are so many differences in the client alone. We are basically playing on an alpha version while they are playing on a release version. But before I end this video, I want to say thank you to Papa Smoothie again for stepping up, because he as a person now is in a lot of criticism because, well, he is the one speaking about this. So please be civil. Don't throw any mean words or accusations into his direction. Keep it completely constructive and ask normally what you believe will happen next. Offer proper criticism. Please do not attack. I'll repeat myself again. I do not agree with this, and I really hope we can maybe in the year of 2024 find solutions that most of us are happy with. Needlessly to say, matchmaking can't make everyone happy. That's not possible. And with that in mind, I wish you a beautiful day. Leave a like, leave a comment, and see you soon for more RiftGuides content.